Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. You wanna know what grinds my gears, boils my blood, puts me into a frothing rage? When someone lies to your face and tells you that the sky is red, when actually, and quite obviously, if you look for yourself, the sky is fucking blue. If you'll pardon the bullshit analogy. The target of my fervor for this video comes from two other YouTube videos that were released around the same 2-day time span. One uploaded right after the other. Bullshit on top of more bullshit. Now please, take into consideration, these are not personal attacks against the YouTubers themselves. I do not know these individuals personally, but the ideas and conclusions presented in these videos are demonstrably false. First we have video games need to die, and right after that, the future of gaming, an industry meltdown? Now when I saw the titles of these videos, I assumed that they were just clickbait, but no, the authors, the uploaders of these videos are very genuine in their horribly misinformed beliefs. In that the video game industry is going to crash, that it needs a crash, when in reality, they just personally want a crash for the satisfaction of their close-minded, selfish validation. Okay, let's get down to business here. First off, let's talk about the uncomfortable issues that would be associated in an actual legitimate video game industry crash, that all these individuals demanding and hoping for a crash conveniently ignore. If the video game industry were to crash, there is no guarantee that all of a sudden we would start receiving more quality products. A video game industry crash doesn't automatically equal reset. Video game developers and publishers stop being greedy. They all of a sudden start making quote-unquote better games. I mean, this is so ignorant and childish. Millions upon billions of dollars being lost and wasted, and hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs doesn't all of a sudden automatically mean we start getting better quality video games. The video game crash of 1983 and the resurgence of gaming afterwards were under very certain specific circumstances and decisions made by hundreds of different individuals around that time period. There is absolutely no guarantee, zero guarantee whatsoever, that the exact same thing would happen if a video game industry crash were to happen today right now. The 2010s is such a different time period to the 1980s. To assume the exact same series of events would occur, it's childish. It's absolutely childish. But also, as I briefly mentioned earlier, wanting and demanding a video game industry crash is remarkably, disgustingly selfish. Should another video game industry crash occur, that would mean hundreds of thousands of people would lose their fucking jobs, their livelihoods, put into jeopardy.
Oh, but microtransactions and season passes and pre-ordering.
Yeah, all of these horrible anti-consumer business practices that no one is forcing you to participate in. No one is forcing you to give your money to these companies. No one is forcing you to buy games that contain these practices. You have this wonderful, amazing thing called free will. Exercise it. Just because you're a wannabe authoritarian and you want the world and people to conform to you based on your personal desires and preferences, well, tough titties. That's not how the world works.
I don't like the video games being released nowadays. Hundreds of thousands of people should lose their jobs and the industry needs to crash.
So mature, so intelligent. Now please don't misunderstand me, I'm not trying to generalize, I'm not trying to strawman you. Of course, this statement is directed at very specific individuals with very specific perspectives, but that doesn't change the fact that there is a growing number of people that want or demand or believe that a video game industry crash is needed, and that somehow, if it did happen, everything would be sunshine and rainbows. Consider all the money lost. Consider the people that would be jobless. Yeah, sure, Activision, EA, Konami, greedy sons of bitches. But not every single individual that works at these conglomerates, that works at these corporations, not every single person working there is an evil, malicious scumbag. Okay, so the CEOs, the CFOs are greedy and liars. So that means all the interns and the janitors and the actual hard-working developers need to all lose their jobs because you're butthurt about the state of the industry and can't control your buying and spending habits. Why do we have to include all this needless suffering?
just don't buy the games. You don't like microtransactions, you don't agree with microtransactions or season passes or pre-ordering or games made by these specific greedy publishers, then don't buy their games. It's that fucking simple. The whole industry doesn't need to come crashing down and burning because you hate these companies, but you impulsively keep buying their games. And now with all that out of the way, let me tell you why a second video game industry crash is never going to happen. It can't happen. It's an impossibility. You see, if you actually do this wonderful thing called research, when you base your opinions off facts and not purely feelings, you'll discover that the video game industry is fucking booming. It's killing it. The video game industry is making more money than ever before. They're selling more games than ever before. There are more gamers than ever before. There are more consumers consuming game industry content than ever before. There's more people spending money on games, investing in games. You don't believe me? Let me show you some bloody examples from this year and last year. Far Cry 5 is the biggest launch in franchise history, best-selling game of 2018 so far, best-selling game ever to launch in week 13 too, beating BioShock Infinite. Monster Hunter World is now the best-selling game in Capcom's history. Monster Hunter World has shipped over 7.5 million units worldwide. Oh, and let's not fucking forget Fortnite. Fortnite finally clears 300 million in a month. Fortnite Battle Royale made roughly 318 million across all platforms in May, breaking its own record for monthly revenue for at least the second month in a row. Now let's look back into last year, 2017. Call of Duty World War II passes $1 billion in worldwide sales. And again, I know I keep bringing this up video after video, but take a look at the best-selling games of 2017. All of these games broke records. Records in revenue generated, records in sales. Look, if it's not obvious enough, I'll just say it outright. Video games are making too much money. There are too many people playing games, buying games, investing in games. An industry-wide crash is never going to happen because a crash entails that the mass consumer base, the mass consumer market, stops spending money, stops investing money in video games. That the vast majority of gamers stop buying video games. It is wholly unrealistic. The gaming community has proven time and time again. It doesn't matter how shitty the business practices and monetization schemes are in their games, they will still buy them, and they will still play them, and they will invest even more money into them. So if all of you wanting a video game industry crash, demanding a crash, just stopped for a moment, stop being ideologues and basing everything off your primal feelings. Take a moment to stop and look at the facts. Look at the numbers. Because the facts and the numbers don't care about your feelings. It does not matter how angry you are at these video game companies, how badly you want them to suffer. Outside of your bubble, outside of your echo chamber, reality continues. And the reality of the situation is the video game industry is booming. It is remarkably successful. It's generating more money than ever before. There are more people buying video games than ever before. More people getting into gaming than ever before. And this is something I want to touch on. It's a good thing. This is a good thing. We're almost there. The stigmatization of gaming is almost done and over with. Every day, every month, every year, gaming becomes more and more mainstream. Despite the dinosaur that is the lamestream media, pushing back against gaming, the gaming stereotypes continue to die off left, right, and center. Gaming is becoming more and more of an everyday thing where everyone of every race, of every gender, every ethnicity, every cultural background from around the world plays video games, enjoys games, doesn't ostracize others for liking and playing games. The bigger gaming gets, the better. The more gamers there are, the better. Yes, I know, microtransactions, season passes, pre-ordering, yes, they suck. But there's a simple goddamn solution. Don't spend your money on it. Don't participate. Every month, of every year, great video games are released in the middle market and indie space. And this is the last thing I want to touch on, and I'm going to be making a whole separate video on this topic in the near future. The obsession with the AAA video game industry needs to stop. AAA does not hold a monopoly over all of gaming. So many delusioned gamers are missing out on the great games coming out from the AA space, the middle market and indie space. There's so many great mid-tier and indie class video games coming out that are telling great stories, that have great gameplay, that are pro-consumer. But they don't get fucking talked about because gaming YouTubers are more interested in making a profit than actually improving the games industry. They'll bitch about Activision and EA non-stop, but won't take the moment to tell you about fantastic games like Omen Sight, Vampire, the Warhammer Vermintide games, Remothered, Tormented Fathers, Attack of the Earthlings, Ruiner, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Little Nightmares, Echo, Late Shift, The Red Strings Club, and so many more. I could keep going on for goddamn hours. Look! Stop obsessing over AAA video games. Stop being a lazy bitch. Do some research. There are great video games, fantastic video games, masterpieces coming out every month of every year. Oh, boo-hoo, they're not the most popular, they're not the best-selling. That's how industries work. Look at Hollywood. Look at cinema and movies, novels and books. What is best-selling is never of best quality. That's just the way it goes. Just because you can't personally accept this or live with this doesn't mean hundreds of thousands of people should lose their jobs. So, just to recap, a video game industry crash is never going to happen nowadays. If it did happen, it's not a simple over and done with scenario. There are lasting negative consequences. Facts don't care about your feelings. The AAA industry is not all gaming has to offer. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. However, like most things concerning video games, this topic is far more nuanced than any single YouTube video can cover. So please leave your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section down below. I think a great and very interesting debate and conversation can be had down there. And if you want to personally argue and debate me, feel free to send me a personal message and we can set up a voice chat. I'm very fascinated to hear what the pro-gaming industry crash individuals have to say after this rebuttal. However, this has been a video. I hope you liked the video. If you did indeed like the video in any shape or form, please be sure to the like button. The like button helps you, helps me, helps everyone vote the video with the like button. If you want to help out and support the video, please share it on social media, Twitter and Facebook. If you want to help out and support me directly, well, there's always Patreon. Anyways, that's been a video, and I'll see you all later.